My name is Jim Getson, and this is a review of the Weihrauch HW50S. The 50 is a mid-sized, mid-power spring-piston sporting rifle made in Germany. It has a slim, elegant design and a break barrel action. It's well suited for backyard plinking, light hunting or pest control, and even as a starter gun for field target. In short, it's a handy, multi-purpose rifle. Let's take a look at some of the features. The stock is beech and is unadorned with checkering. It features a slightly raised cheek piece and ends with a rubber butt pad. It's a plain stock, but it's attractive. The steel receiver has an 11mm dovetail rail for a scope and 3 stop pin holes to hold the scope in place against the recoil. There's an automatic safety at the end of the receiver. Below we find the famous Record 2-stage adjustable trigger. It's one of the finest triggers you will find on a sporting rifle. The 50 comes with a nice set of open iron sights. For many people, there will be no need to add a scope. The rear sight is adjustable for elevation by turning the top knob. And for windage by turning the side knob. Both turn in discrete clicks, so you can easily return to an earlier setting. The front sight is a simple, sturdy, and removable post-globe style with changeable inserts. The front and rear sights work well together, even for those with aging eyes. Here's a view down the sights. The 50 comes with several inserts for the front sight, suitable for a variety of hunting, plinking, and target uses. Now a look at some of the numbers. First, the rifle weighs a modest 6.8 pounds and measures a full 40.5 inches long. The 18 pounds of cocking effort is easy enough for most adults, but not for youths. The .177 caliber is rated at 820 feet per second by Pyramyd Air, while the .22 is rated at 574 feet per second. I'll show you my numbers in a moment. One more number of interest, at least to me, is the length of pull. That is, the distance from the trigger to the butt pad. Pulling out my rusty but trusty tape measure, we can see that the 50 has a length of pull of about 14.5 inches. I'm an average sized guy at 5'10", and honestly, the LOP is a little long for me. Now for those unfamiliar with break barrel rifles, let me show you how they work. To cock the gun, you give the end of the barrel a little slap and then pull it all the way down until you feel and hear it click. This exposes the breech where you load the pellet. Then, still holding onto the barrel for safety purposes, you insert a pellet into the breech and gently but firmly close the barrel. The 50 has an automatic safety button that engages when you cock the rifle. To disengage the safety, you push the button on the left side of the receiver, exposing a red indicator on the right. While the iron sights on the rifle are fine, I usually mount a scope on mine for maximum accuracy. My scope is a low-cost center-point model on a one-piece mount with a stop pin. The 50 does have some recoil, so the one-piece design of the mount and the stop pin ensure the scope won't move when the gun is fired. The middle stop pin hole provides me with the optimal eye relief. While some scopes can be mounted with the iron sights in place, I prefer to remove them for a clean look and to ensure that the view through the scope is unobstructed. All it takes is a screwdriver. First, remove the elevation knob, which is really a type of screw. Then, remove the main screw holding the sight in place. After removing the rear sight, you are left with 2 small holes. I prefer to reinstall both the elevation screw and the main screw to fill in those holes. This isn't particularly exciting to watch, so let's jump ahead to the front sight. You simply remove a single screw on the right-hand side, and the front sight slides right off. The result, I think, is a good-looking scoped rifle. Plus, due to the modest weight of the 50, the rifle is handy even with a scope mounted. It's a hot summer day here in Florida and everybody is looking for shade. A light breeze offers little relief. Here's my backyard range with a target box out there at a measured 30 yards. My 50 likes two different kinds of pellets, Crosman Premier Lights and JSB Exacts, which tend to be good in many guns. Up first are the JSBs. While the 50 is not a hold-sensitive gun, I'll be shooting off a plastic-covered sandbag and using a light grip to get the best accuracy I can out of it. Alright, time for a few warm-up shots. Let's see how the first 5 shots look. This is a standard 10-meter target that I have out at 30 yards. I see a little vertical stringing, not too bad for warming up. Now that the gun is ready to go, let's do a little chrony testing. I have to tell you though, I do have an aftermarket spring in this gun to reduce a little bit of the twanginess that came with the factory spring. The first shot comes in at 765 feet per second, which is about what I got with the factory spring. Second shot, 761. That's pretty good consistency. Next I'll try the Crosman Premier Lights. These are my favorite pellets and are a little tighter fitting and lighter than the JSBs. After resetting the chrony, let's see what we get. First shot comes in at 752 feet per second. That seems a little off. Let's try again. Second shot, 761. That's more like it. Let's try a third to make sure that wasn't a fluke. Yep, 763. That's right on. So, both the JSBs and the Crosman Premier Lights produced about 10.2 foot-pounds of energy. Alright, it's time for some accuracy testing. I put a fresh target on the box and now I'm going to shoot a 5-shot group. I'm not the best shot in the world, but I'll do my best. Alright, 5 shots later, let's go get the target and take a look at it. Okay, remember this is a 10-meter target that I put out at 30 yards. This isn't really the greatest group I've ever seen out of this gun, to be honest with you. Yeah, I can cover all of the holes with a bottle cap, which is about an inch across. But frankly, I've had days, many of them, where I've shot dime-sized groups from 30 yards. This group looks to be about 3/4 of an inch, maybe a little more, center to center. Okay, enough with the JSBs. Let's switch out to the Crosman Premier Lights and see if they make any difference. Let me say a quick word though about the loudness of the gun. Like many people, I have neighbors and I don't want to use a gun that's going to bother them. Pyramyd Air rates this gun as a low to medium loudness. I rate the gun as solidly in the medium category. I'd call it neither loud nor quiet. It's not nearly as quiet as, for example, a Marauder, and it's right at the limit of acceptability for my situation. Although I don't have a fancy microphone attached to my video camera, this clip does give you a pretty good representation of the loudness of the gun. Okay, 5 shots later, let's see how we did. At first glance, this group isn't a whole lot better than the JSB group. We can still cover all the shots with a bottle cap, but notice that 4 out of the 5 shots are within about a half an inch of each other. Even the extreme spread is only 3/4 of an inch. Again, the gun is capable of much better than this, but just wasn't doing it for me today. Let's try a field target. This Gammo target available from Pyramyd Air is inexpensive and a great way to practice. It comes with different sizer rings. I like to hold the sizer down with a piece of electrical tape, and I have mounted the target on a small piece of plywood for better stability when resetting it. I'm using the 3/4 inch target ring, so at 30 yards it gives it a difficulty rating of 40 troyer. The distance to the target in yards divided by the size of the target in inches gives you a troyer rating. In field target competitions, a shot of about a 30 troyer is considered an average shot, so this is a little bit more difficult than average. I'm a beginning field target shooter, so please don't look at my form as one you want to emulate. Reactive targets sure are fun to hit. The HW50S and I hit 6 out of the next 10 shots. Alright, well how's the HW50S when it comes to the offhand position? I really like the medium weight of this rifle. I know heavier rifles are supposed to be more accurate for offhand, but frankly they tire me out. About the only thing I would change is the length of pull. You can see my finger is a little bit stretched. If you're not into shooting paper targets or field targets, the 50 does make a great backyard plinking gun. This is a homemade spinner I made from some cheap materials at the hardware store. For the ultimate and reactive targets, though, it's hard to beat good old paintballs at 25 yards. As we've seen, the HW50S is a wonderful all-purpose rifle. It has a comfortable size and weight, it's accurate and moderately quiet, and it has a superb trigger. It's available at a great price from Pyramyd Air.